Well, we started when it was still the Soviet Union. So we go back to the rebirth, I guess, of Russia.
Это целое море воспоминаний. Море воспоминаний. Начали все процессы, которые происходили тогда в Советском Союзе, на фоне его крушения, во многих других предприятиях. Военные заказы стали кончаться, зарплату местами перестали платить. И вдруг, о чудо, в нашей совсекретной фирме стали появляться иностранцы.
You know, it's interesting. We first came here and we spent a week and we met over 100 different people. And Dr. Zabin really stood out because he was so animated during our meetings. I remember when we invited the first group of scientists to come visit us in the US, I sent a fax asking them to make sure that they included that little man that was pounding on the desk with his arms waving all over the place. Because at least what I really recognized in him is that he had a great deal of passion.
Поразительные времена, когда мне было, кстати говоря, сколько там, 58 лет, я 30 лет проработал в военно-промышленном комплексе, там, начальник отдела, зам главного конструктора, там, Луря, очень много чего было. А тут стремительно пошла какая-то совершенно другая жизнь.
Dr. Zabin had an amazing ability for a 60-year-old to adapt and change, which is really quite extraordinary for any person, but for a Russian scientist who's 60 years old to be able to learn new concepts, new way of thinking, really speaks volumes.
Я абсолютно не ощущал никакого конфликта из-за этой разности возрастов. Я просто не обращал внимания.
Attest to that, and it was actually kind of fascinating because in the US, my age was noticed, frankly. But with Dr. Zabin, from the very beginning, it was never an issue. Yeah, I was a young kid, absolutely. Of course, the partnership of a different culture, of a different discipline from engineering to entrepreneurial and putting it together in a whole different set of cultural environment, you know, working within Russia with the American environment and culture that I try to bring and openness was really a key advantage that we were able to meld together. The early days were indeed wild and crazy.
Тогда вот инвестиция в VimpelCom или КБ была в чистом виде авантюра, на которую пошел Фабелла.
There weren't rules. There weren't a lot of institutions that were regulating what was happening. There wasn't that much knowledge base when it came to things like marketing, like advertising, like general management. That to me was actually fantastic because it allowed me to kind of set the expectation. I didn't have a lot of resistance in terms of, well, this is the way we do it here. Well, they didn't do it. And you learn together. And, you know, I was young, so I was learning along with them. It's not that I knew everything, I didn't, but we were learning together. And what better way to create a team when you're doing things together? From a business development point of view, too, frankly, it was terrific.
Я рассматривал Фабеллу очень быстро, как, да, как своего товарища, коллегу. Для меня этого не существовало.
So when we first started and we decided that we were going to get a test license and become an operator, then the first goal became, let's build a network.
Когда мы начали вот эту первую эксплуатацию, у нас базовая станция стояла на МИДе, так, мы еще не могли продавать, а давали телефоны всяким знатным людям. Мы еще не имели права продавать, как участникам технической эксплуатации. Одним из таких первых клиентов был, кстати говоря, мэр Москвы Лужков. У меня даже расписка его сохранилась, что получил телефон во временное пользование. Она у меня сохранилась.
Our next goal was, let's get to a commercial system.
Создать сеть коммерчески эффективную, которая способна обслуживать до 600 абонентов.
Next goal was, let's get to the number of subscribers that we need to be able to be break even because we were terribly underfunded and we needed the cash You know, fortunately, in those early days, we were selling phones for $5,000 a phone. So if you sold enough, that was good cash that you could use to continue to grow and build. Our first commercial operation was launched in 1994.
Реклама, на которой была изображена какая-то там кривая линия и прямая линия. Билайн – это линия прямая, но имеется в виду, что у вас связь хорошая, прямое соединение. А МГТС, можно сказать, телефонная сеть – это линия кривая. Плохая связь.
So we always set a lot of intermediate goals to be able to kind of accomplish them and then move on, and you set a new goal. You know, I remember when we did the IPO, I think pretty much the day that we actually listed, we had 50,000 subscribers. And I swallowed hard and I said, look, in 6, 8, 10 years, we will achieve 500,000 subscribers. And that was, no one believed me. They said, no way, you'll never get to 500,000.
И потом это чудо, IPO. To be honest, I don't know English. I don't know English at all. During IPO, I learned one speech. I'm very glad to be here to tell you about VimpelCom, first Russian company on New York Stock Exchange, etc., etc., etc.
Seeing the Russian flag, the Beeline flag, having Russian dancers on the street, on the floor. Of course, that was an amazing feeling for a young guy.
Открывал торги. Я бил в колокол. Флаги России, флаги Beeline на Уолл-стрите. Слезы в глазах. Это оргия.
We needed the capital. We needed, frankly, the political cover. We were an independent group of 2 entrepreneurs, basically. We needed the backing of the US government, of a New York Stock Exchange listing to be able to combat the challenges that we were facing at the time. But again, it was just one more goal we achieved. Now let's move on to the next.
Да, у нас потом были кризисы, потом было дефолт был фактически у нас, потом старт был фантастичен.
We started with the US standard, but the future was, of course, GSM.
А если бы не было бы GSM, не было бы и VimpelCom сейчас. Мы 2 года за него бились.
The partnership with Telenor came in 1999. Their investment and their coming in really helped save the company because they gave us capital that we desperately needed, having been very severely hurt by 1998 in the financial crisis. We lost about 60% of our cash, which was dramatic for us.
Что самое ценное, что принес Теленор в компанию, это был Джо Лундер.
Probably the biggest contribution, though, that they gave us even more than the money, though it was fundamental, was that we had the opportunity to meet Joe Lunder.
When I came to VimpelCom in 1999, the company were losing money. We didn't have a GSM network in Moscow yet, and the whole task was about taking advantage of that strong group of people and that strong corporate culture and start making money again.
Without GSM, we, of course, would never have developed, and frankly, probably wouldn't be here. So it was a huge milestone in Dr. Zemin getting us those frequencies, and it absolutely gave us a new chance at life and at growth.
Кстати говоря, вот для меня один из ярчайших периодов жизни VimpelCom, это, я его описываю в книге, была битва за GSM.
I also met 2 extraordinary individuals, Dmitry Zemin and Ogi Fabella. The 3 of us were a great match together.
The contributions that Joe Lunder brought to this company in terms of transforming our management to professional management was absolutely fundamental to who we became and to give us the ability to become the VimpelCom that we are today.
Что вот я сейчас говорил, если я считался адекватным на этапе зарождения компании, создания компании, ее развития, так, то я совершенно объективно ощущал и ощущаю, что вот талантов руководить вот такой гигантской компанией у Лундера на порядок больше, чем у меня. Отношусь к нему с колоссальной симпатией и уважением.
Great timing. Zemin wanted to transition out. Alpha wanted to find a telecommunications company to invest in. Great match. Money came in for a second time. We used the money to develop all the regions in Russia outside Moscow.
Alpha came in 2001. Great contributors, again, to the success of VimpelCom. They were fantastic believers in globalizing VimpelCom. After he left VimpelCom, how he completely left business altogether and decided to become a philanthropist and did some amazing, groundbreaking things here in Russia with philanthropy. Extraordinary man and extraordinary talent.
I think Ogi Fabella and Dmitry Zemin made the impossible possible.
If you move on to 2004, and I use 2004 because 2004 was pretty fundamental in that, at least as a milestone, it was the first time that we expanded outside of Russia. It was to the CIS, it was going to Kazakhstan, but nonetheless it was a milestone saying that, look, we want to be more than just Russia. We looked to expand, we acquired various companies to be able to grow the group into a larger group, culminating in the acquisition of Wind, which really put us on the global map. Put these two groups together of similar DNA, and that's what we now have today, which is a really strong group of people with similar values, with similar vision, and with a similar history of where they came from.
We have the ability to challenge and tackle any obstacle. VimpelCom always comes back.
And at the end of the day, it's all about people. It's people who really drive the business. There is no such thing as the company. The company is the people.
Ogi Fabella is the only person that has been actively part of the development of the company. He has always a vision. Ogi is a very visionary man, and he is also an entrepreneur. So when you combine entrepreneurship with being visionary, I think from time to time you see results like what we see in VimpelCom today.
20 years have gone by very fast. I enjoyed it, I tell you. I learned a lot. It's learning at lightning speed when you were in those early days in that environment. At least I like to think the same pioneering spirit that we started with is still part of the fundamental DNA of who VimpelCom is today.
We grew from nothing to a global telecommunications company.
The joy, the satisfaction of having the passion of accomplishing, we're very fortunate in what we were able to accomplish. We started from absolutely nowhere to where we are today, and taking now everything we have now, just imagine how much further we can go. We can accomplish it together as a company.